All right then. So it's 7 p.m. in Japan. So let's start. So thank you everyone for coming to Build Mercari 2022 online briefing session. So first and foremost, we have a few announcements. So first, this event is being recorded and streaming live on YouTube. And so at the end of the session today, we have about 15 minutes of a Q&A session where we answer your questions. So please feel free to leave your comments or questions on YouTube Live comments section, which I can see that some of you are already writing, so that's great. And lastly, so we have a hashtag on Twitter, Build Mercari. So feel free to tweet if you have a Twitter account. So next, before we get into the actual section, we would like to have a YY time, which is like a mingle time. In Japanese we call YY time. So for those who are not very familiar with YouTube comments, please try using the comments and let us know which country you're watching this live stream from. So can anyone tell us where you're watching from? Which country you're from?
Philippines.
Philippines? Cool. Philippines. So time difference is not too bad. Oh, someone is in Tokyo and India. India, Philippines. Okay, do you guys see where the comment section is? On the screen, you should be able to see on your right side. Good morning from USA. Good morning. Taiwanese in Saitama, Singapore, Taiwan, great. Indonesia. USA must be, well, good morning. So it must be very early in the morning. Thank you so much for coming. Indonesia, India, great. So a lot of people from outside of Japan, thank you so much for coming. From Taiwan, that's great. Okay. So this is today's schedule. So for the first around 5 minutes, we have this quick introduction, which is right now. And after that, we'll talk about, first of all, what is Mercari, about the Mercari Group, who we are. And after that, we'll talk about why D&I, diversity and inclusion, is important to us for Mercari. And after that, we will talk about the actual content, what is Build Mercari 2022. And we should have about 15 to maybe 20 minutes left, so we'll answer Q&A. All right, then. Okay, so let's start the first section. Oh, sorry, before that, I had a quick introduction about myself. So my name is Rika. I'm in Mercari Talent Acquisition Team. So I joined Mercari in 2018. First, I was assigned to Merpay, which is one of the Mercari's group companies. And I was there as a mid-career recruiter. Then after that, I came back to Mercari and joined the new grads hiring team. So yeah, that's about it for me. So now let's get into about the Mercari Group, to explain, first of all, who are we, what we do. So let me introduce Kasumi-san.
Yes.
Guys.
Hi, thank you, Rika-san. Hi, my name. Let me explain. Introduce myself. My name is Kasumi, and I'm also working at talent acquisition team. I joined actually last month, so I've been working here only a month. Okay. Thank you. Okay, what's Mercari? Let me explain about Mercari. And then Mercari is a C2C marketplace app in Japan where anyone can sell and buy items easily. Next slide, please. Thank you. And Mercari is established February 1st, 2013, and we have some offices in Japan, Tokyo, Sendai, Fukuoka, Osaka, and also United States. Headcount 1,900, including subsidiaries. Next slide, please. Okay, company overview. Maybe some of you might already know us as a C2C marketplace app provider in Japan, but we are actually more than that. We have several group companies as subsidiaries. Today, I am going to talk a little bit some of our group companies with red lines, in addition to Mercari. Next slide, please. Okay. Let me talk about Mercari business first. Next slide, please. Thank you. Starting with Mercari, we have this mission: create value in a global marketplace where anyone can buy and sell. Next slide, please. Okay, create value means to sell unnecessary items instead of throwing them away to those who see value in them. So adding value to something that otherwise had no value at all. Global marketplace means we would like to expand this concept not just in Japan, but also in the other countries. In order to make a smooth and safe selling buying experience for our customers, we have many features such as escrow payment, violation detection, and barcode listing and AI listing. So through buying and selling on Mercari, customers gain money, and that's where Merpay comes in. Next slide, please. Oh, thank you. Okay, let me explain about Merpay service, which is in Mercari app. Thank you. Okay, Merpay's mission. For Merpay, we have a separate mission: create trust and build a seamless society. Merpay is a mobile payment feature on Mercari app that let us customers buy something in and outside of Mercari using money they earn in Mercari or by connecting Merpay to their bank account. Next slide, please. Thank you. What Merpay is aiming is not just to be another mobile payment app, but to change the idea of value exchange. We would like to realize a world where people can achieve their goals and do what they love, even if they don't have enough cash at hand to do so. Value exchange is traditionally done with money. Let's say if you wanted to buy a bottle of water, you pay money to get one. However, what we would like to do is to use trust instead of money. And where does that trust come from? When you sell or buy something, on Mercari, buyers and sellers reach each other. By looking closely at transaction data and purchase behavior of our customers, we grant credit to each of our customers, which let them make purchases without money. This is actually one of Merpay's feature, deferred payment, where our customers are allocated certain amount of money based on the level of trust, which let them make a purchase without money, then make payment in the following month. Okay, let me explain about Mercari US next. The year after the founding of Mercari in Japan, we began to expand overseas. We started our business in the United States in April 2014, and we adapted our branding, improved our UI UX, and created a delivery network to match local preferences and the characteristic of the United States market. We have an office in Palo Alto, California, where the US app is developed. But we also have an engineering organization in Tokyo office that works on the US app from Japan. Next slide, please. Thank you. Last but not least, We have Sozo that operates Mercari shops. Next slide, please. Thank you. Mercari Shops is an B2C online shopping platform that allows anyone to easily open an online store using their just smartphone. Opening an online shop is difficult without tech knowledge or experience, and many producers or small business owners in Japan find that even if they open online shop on the other platform, their products don't sell, and they don't have the know-how on how to sell them. With Mercari shops, business owners can reach more than 20 million existing Mercari customers. That's it for Mercari Group introduction. Next, let me talk a little bit about our value, culture, and work environment. Okay. As much as we put importance on our mission that I introduced earlier, what's equally important to us is our values. We have 3 values. Go bold. This encourages everyone to take on bold challenges to make a big impact. All for one, working in team to achieve something big. Be a pro, being responsible and commit to result. Next, let me explain about people at Mercari Group. So, what kind of people are working at Mercari Group? We have employees from about 40 countries worldwide, and almost 50% of engineers are from abroad. We have a very diverse workplace in Mercari Group, especially in engineering division. When we have diverse workplace, it's important to consider differences in things like culture, language, and communication style. Okay. Next, I would like to introduce our working style. The Mercari Group has been teleworking for about 2 years since the breakout of COVID-19. But in an effort to create a more flexible work style, we announced Mercari own work style, your choice, last September. This allows the individual to choose their working environment and work from anywhere as long as they're in Japan. Okay, for next, Maya from the D&I team will now explain why Mercari is focusing on D&I. Please go ahead, Maya-san.
Okay, thank you, Kasumi-san, for the introduction. Hi, everyone. My name is Maya, and before we explain the program of Build at Mercari, I want to just take a moment to talk to you about why Mercari puts focus on D&I and why we have a program like Build. We welcome any comments and posts you have about what I'm talking about, so feel free to comment away. Like I said, my name is Maya Tanaka. I currently work in HR at Merpay, which is a payment service owned by Mercari, as Kasumi just explained. I wanted to share my self-intro with you today so you can see that it's completely normal and okay to not have a very straight line to your ideal career. I was born in Japan and later moved to the US, so I'm bilingual in Japanese and English. I moved back to Japan after college and pursued what I thought was my ideal career as an interpreter. After that, I changed companies and jobs, working as a relocation consultant, and then later on as an executive assistant, before I moved to Thailand when my husband got transferred. When I was living in Thailand, I couldn't work due to my visas, so I was a full-time mom. I volunteered a lot. I was very proactive in my daughter's school, and I also learned Thai. And when I returned to Japan, because I had that blank in my resume, it was really hard for me to get a job. But fortunately, I was able to find a position as an interpreter at Mercari. And while I was working as an interpreter, I also gradually kind of expanded my scope into learning and development and diversity inclusion and other HR roles. And I found that my real passion is with diversity and inclusion. And now that I work in HR, I'm no longer an interpreter. I work in HR. I work to implement a more inclusive policies, kind of from the inside. And I honestly never thought I would go into HR, but I really enjoy my current work, and I'm thankful for all of those different experiences I had. I think it kind of helps me understand where everybody is coming from when it comes to compensation policies and things like that. So that's about me. And then next slide, please. So today I want to talk to you about 4 things. What is diversity and inclusion? Just explain why we invest in it, why we promote it, how exactly do we promote it, and lastly, why build? Okay, next slide. So before I get into why Mercari promotes D&I, I just want to talk about what D&I is to make sure we all have the same understanding. Okay. Diversity and inclusion means 2 different things. Diversity refers to all of the ways in which we differ from one another and having diverse members within the organization. Even though we refer to diversity as one thing, there actually is surface level diversity, which refers to visible characteristics such as race, and deep level diversity, which refers to non-observable traits like sexual orientation or values. Inclusion refers to accepting each individual within the organization as they are. So it's when every person feels or is able to think, I am respected by my coworkers. So some of you may be wondering, okay, what does it actually mean to act inclusively? And to give you a better idea, I've put together a quick, simple list of inclusive actions. So for example, how would you feel if you were placed in this kind of team? There are many unspoken rules. People make assumptions about team members' working styles or ideas. Those with differing opinions get silenced or even punished. And decisions are made by only a select group of individuals. Would you be able to maximize your potential in this kind of environment? No, probably not. No matter how talented you are, it would be very difficult to produce results in a team like this. So that's why inclusive actions are so important. Inclusive actions lead to a working environment where everyone is able to accept and respect one another while working towards the same goal. A few examples of such actions would be making the rules clear to make sure that everybody understands no matter what perspective they may have, presenting options, welcoming differing opinions, and involving a diverse group of people in decision making. Inclusion is the result of individual actions like these taken by each and every one of us. It's also important to note that diversity and inclusion cannot be achieved with just one side. D&I doesn't mean having diverse people there is enough. It really means ensuring everyone feels comfortable sharing their opinions and everyone feels included. So we must incorporate a diverse group of members in our organization and find common ground, make sure everybody feels included. This work obviously never stops. And at Mercari, we refer to this never-ending journey as diversity and inclusion. So now, why would a company push for D&I? The answer is very simple. Mercari promotes D&I because it's essential to achieve our corporate mission. At Mercari, we have 3 values that all employees must embody, as was explained by Kasumi. And in order for all the employees to be able to demonstrate their full potential, we believe it's necessary to have diverse members and an inclusive environment. As you can see here on the right, we have these foundations such as sustainability, and we believe all 4 of these, including diversity and inclusion, are a necessity. There's also one more reason that's extremely important, and it's not about benefiting the company. Next slide, please. We want to ensure that we do not reproduce structural discriminations or structural inequalities that exist in society. So some examples of this would be making sure there's no gender pay gap, making sure we're not favoring men in hiring and promotion, and making sure we're not excluding people who are raising kids or caregiving, or people with illness or disabilities. In fact, today, my husband is away at work, and so it's just me and my daughter. My daughter is right in front of me now eating pizza. So I'd say we're trying to do good on that inclusive area. D&I also impacts our product directly, and our marketplace principles make 3 promises: safety, trustworthiness, and then lastly, humane. So one of these promises for our marketplace is to be humane, and we pledge to ensure that all our services do not infringe on the human rights of any of our users. Lastly, with regard to organization, and Kasumi touched on this as well, but we currently have employees from over 40 different countries, and about half our engineering organization is non-Japanese. So by promoting D&I, we aim to be an organization where all of these employees can reach their full potential. So, and that's all well and good, but what exactly are we doing? Next slide, please. First, from a policy standpoint, we have a benefits program dubbed Mercy Box. And these are various policies put in place to help anyone who might come into a situation where they cannot work for reasons that may range from childcare, caregiving, fertility treatment, to illness. And these benefits are not just there, but they are really being utilized by our members. In fact, 100% of women take maternity leave, or 100% of women with children take childcare or maternity leave, which is, I suppose, pretty obvious. But we also have about 90% of men take paternity leave, which is extremely rare in Japan, and the male employees that take generally about 2 months off for childcare. For comparison, in Japan, the average male usage rate of childcare leave is 12%. So Mercari is really encouraging men to take this leave. And in fact, if you don't, everybody asks you why you're not. So it's really the usual here. And then we have Your Choice, which was mentioned briefly by Kasumi as well. And part of the reason that we implemented this as well is also from an inclusion standpoint. In Japan, it's quite common for a woman to, or a partner, I should say, to give up their career in order to move with their partner, who gets transferred all over Japan. And by having this Your Choice, allowing people to work from anywhere, allows those people to continue on their career path, even if they have to move throughout Japan to be with their partner. There are also other company initiatives that contribute to D&I. Mercari held an unconscious bias workshop for all employees and released the materials of the program for free. Some of you may already know this, but we all have unconscious biases, and it's really important to just be aware that you have them. So this workshop helps participants realize they have those biases. Like I said, it's open to everyone. So if you're interested, I encourage you to look into it, and you can check out the slides. We've also formed a partnership with Kamiyama Kosen, which is a technical high school in Kagawa Prefecture, and it provides support for students in STEM. And we also recently launched the Mercari Restart program. There are many people who had to stop work for various reasons, like illness or caring for children. And this program has been designed to help those people restart their careers. Lastly, next slide, please. This is not part of Mercari's business, but it is a foundation that our CEO, Shintaro Yamada, established as a personal project. It offers scholarships for middle school girls going into STEM. And this isn't directly related to our company, but I wanted to share this with you because I think it shows how our CEO is personally committed to action. Okay, so lastly, I want to talk about why Mercari offers the Build at Mercari program. So, does anybody know what this number means? 120th? If any of you look into kind of gender or anything, you may know this already, but next slide, please. Yeah, it is the Gender Gap Index. So this is Japan's gender gap ranking. The World Economic Forum puts out a global gender gap report every year in which they measure the gender gap of every country and rank them accordingly. They look objectively at the gap between men and women in various fields, from like politics to work to pay gap, etc. And yeah, 120 out of 156. So we're closer to the bottom than the top, which is obviously not great. So next slide, please. And looking further into it, into education, at STEM fields in particular, the reality is that there are very few female students in STEM. They make up only 27% of the sciences and 15% of engineering, which is really low from a global perspective as well. So why is this? There's two key reasons for this, and one of them is a systemic bias. Even by parents and educators, that women are not good at STEM, and so they should not pursue it. In fact, we have heard from several girls who said they wanted to pursue it, but their parents told them not to. Another is the fact that most role models in STEM fields, including educators, are men. So next I want to talk about, okay, what are the problems that arise from having few women in STEM? One example is related to drug clinical trials. Since there is a higher percentage of male clinical trial subjects, there are some cases where it hasn't been tested enough on what effects a drug may have on a woman's body. And the second is related to crash testing when developing cars. Some car companies were not able to properly measure the impact of a car accident on women, particularly pregnant women, because the dummies they were using in crash tests were made based on the male body. And third is the biases created in AI. When developing AI, we humans must first create a set of data called training data. And based on this data, the AI starts learning how to make decisions and is gradually able to do more things. However, if the humans include only a certain type of information in that initial training data, those biases will creep into the artificial intelligence. And there have actually been cases of this where the AI ends up making statements or decisions that promote discrimination. So in order to prevent social issues from occurring, it's really very, very important to have more female representation in STEM fields. So the last thing that I want to say is that the events occurring in society, the initiatives carried out by companies, and the things happening in individual lives are all deeply related to one another. The fact that there are so few women in STEM fields leads to social issues, which then also greatly impacts our individual lives. So we at Mercari, we believe it's really important for us to think about these social issues as well, since companies play a critical role in developing the fields of science and technology. I really hope that all of you apply and that Build at Mercari program can help all of you develop and further your careers. As someone not in STEM, I am doing my best to support those of you who are in it. So thank you, and please apply. And I think next will be from Graham to talk about Build at Mercari.
Thank you, Maya. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to everybody in the stream. My name is Graham. I'm a project manager in Mccurry's engineering office. My career history is I spent a long time in the financial industry doing IT, engineering, major incident management, and project management. And yeah, I've been in Mccurry now for nearly 6 months, and it's gone really quick. So that tells you something. Next slide, please. Okay, let's talk a little bit about the Build at Mercari program itself. It's an online skill training and internship program, and we're looking to recruit people who identify as minority groups in the IT and STEM fields, as Maya said. There are two parts to Build at Mercari. There is the Build training program. This is to allow people to train with online materials in computer science basics and other areas. This is usually in the form of videos, but these are not just industry standard videos. We also have some which have been specially created for the Build program by Mercari engineers. So people on the course can get a flavor of how Mercari itself has implemented some of these technologies. It runs for 3 weeks from just after Golden Week in May 9th to the end of the month, 31st. We take about 100 people on the course itself, and those people can be Japanese or English speakers. There is an individual and a group component, and we try to match people by language, but it's pretty open, it's pretty flexible. The second part of the build is later in the year. It's the Build Internship. This is paid, which is nice. When I was a student, I liked the word paid. And it is very much an on-the-job OJT training internship. And that means you'll be working with actual engineers on actual products in actual situations, helping them get the job done and make our product for our customers. That takes place across August and September. It's a much smaller course, 15 to 20 people. And again, Japanese or English. We don't have a problem on the language side for that one. Next slide, please. There's a bit of a breakdown of the actual schedule itself. The first part that we're in already is the application entry period. There is a coding test as part of that application, and that test is actually given in English. We also ask people to submit some documents just explaining, why you're interested in Build, why you'd like to be on it, and then we review that as part of the application. And then, as I say, from May 9th to 31st, we actually have the program itself, and there will be a hackathon style presentation by the teams that will put you in right at the end. So, and that will also incorporate Mccurry engineers and some senior management as well. So take a look at that. In June and July, that's when we get into the internship application, because even though it's Build at Mercari, there are two separate applications. So if you've enjoyed the first one, and we hope you do, you will then do another coding test for the actual internship itself. Again, that will be in English. And then there'll be another document screening in the application. And this time there'll also be an interview. And there'll probably be 2 rounds for that. Also a note for those who are interested in machine learning, we have a separate skills test for the machine learning portion as well. And then August to September is when we'll actually hold that internship. So next slide, please. Thanks. So let's take a look at some of the requirements. Obviously, we would like people to have a shared understanding and a belief in Mercari's mission. I think Maya was talking previously. We are very keen on creating value, allowing people to create value with their own marketplace. We want to support and encourage the circular economy. So we'd like people to be interested in that. There's lots of details on our website about that. We're also looking for people who are in a specific demographic or consider themselves to be a minority in STEM or IT fields, or identify as a member of one of those groups. We appreciate if the students are over 16 years old. We do accept those, though, who have had 1 to 3 years work experience after graduation. So it's a fairly broad group of people to cover there. We would like people to have completed at least 1 course in computer science, but this does not actually mean a computer science degree or a very long-term or deep training course either. And obviously, we need you to be able to take part in these programs, either the training program or the internship itself. We'll talk about the actual requirements of those in a second. And especially for the training program, you need to have access to a computer and an internet environment. I don't know how many people are currently doing this on their phone, but it might not be enough for the training program. Might need a computer for that. Next slide, please. Right, so a little bit more. So the Build training program is 3 weeks. Engineers from Mccurry will help. We have quite a few mentors and volunteers who are quite happy to give you their time to help out during this. And then there'll be a hackathon event, and you'll be able to get advice not just on coding itself and on the technology side of things, but also on careers from various people. We would like you to commit at least 2 hours a day between 10 and 7. The reason it's 10 and 7 is because those are the standard Mercari hours, 10 to 7. We do a flexi time. That's a separate subject, but not everybody works 10 to 7. You probably already know that engineers tend to get up a bit later than other people. So that's why it's 10 to 7. So in the first 2 weeks, we'll be giving out individual assignments. Some of them start with things that might be quite basic, how to use Git, GitHub, basics on databases, API development. Most of what we'll be looking at will probably be Python or Go. Obviously, there'll be some web front-end development. And basically for containers, it'll be based on Docker. And then week 3, we'll put people into teams, and they'll participate in kind of a hackathon. Not really a competition-based hackathon. We won't be able to work together. And as I said before, we would ask people to make a final presentation on the 30th and 31st, where their team can present what they've been working on. So, okay. So here's some comments from the people who are actually involved internally. Matsueda-san is one of the mentors. She's one of the key people internally who works on Build, has done for a few years now. And as she said here, this is really because we want people who don't have a core IT or STEM background, but are interested in it, to be able to kind of see it on their own time and maybe learn a little bit and see if they're interested in pursuing it somewhere else. And that's me. That is my quote. I remember saying it. We're kind of looking for people. We really want to get people as part of diversity to join Build and decide whether STEM or an IT career is something they want to do, and we want to create an environment where they feel confident to actually pursue that. So that's one of the goals for myself. Next slide, please. Okay, have another look at the internship itself. Again, you will be in a development team. They take part in everything that all the normal engineers do. That is from August to September. Those 5 departments, they cover a very large chunk of what we do in engineering: back-end, front-end, iOS development, and Android for mobile, and our machine learning division. So there's quite a lot of things to go and have a look at as an intern. And it will be approximately 15 to 20, depending on the applications we get. So next slide. There we go. There's Mimamo's Slack icon. It's a very serious icon. So this, we're going to have a look through a couple of slides here of people who have actually done Build and are now in Mercari. And as you can see from Mimamo's quote here, she was very interested in getting into a place where she could develop herself professionally, but also a place which had an open culture, where she could feel comfortable to pursue her career and also gain knowledge working with a lot of people. And again, because Mercari itself is actually quite a diverse company, there's a lot of opportunity to learn a lot of different things from all the different people. So it's a very positive experience, which is good. Next slide. Giselle, also a participant, somebody who didn't come from a very strong IT background, but was interested in IT, couldn't really find a peer group and a career path to kind of build upon, and found that in Build. So both during the internship, but also during training, many of the people who are maybe watching the stream right now would have a lot in common to discuss their interest in IT and engineering and science. So that's a very positive kind of reinforcement. And again, everyone is highly motivated. It's a very driven, very passionate internship, because there's quite a lot of people. So there's a lot of people to talk to about what it is you're working on. So yeah, it's good to hear that from different people. And maybe the next slide, and we're into the Q&A section.
All right, thank you so much. So that was the introduction about Build at Mercari program itself. So from here, we would like to move to Q&A. But before we answer your questions that you wrote in YouTube live chat, we have a few questions that we received in advance in the application form for this event. So let me quickly go over this, maybe not all of them, but some of the popular questions that we received. So one of the most popular questions was about the coding test. So as Graham explained, we have 2 coding tests, one for the Build training program, and the second is for the internship. So how are the coding tests 1 and 2 different? So 1, which is for the training program, is basic, rather easy. And the second one is a test, same as Mercari's regular internship and new graduate hiring selection. So the difficulty level is different. And number 2 is going to be more difficult. And so what is the coding test is going to be like? So in the coding test, you will be asked to write a program using computer science and mathematical knowledge. So main languages that you can use are written here. These are some of them, but in total, you can choose from 19 different languages. And to prepare for the coding test number 1, we recommend that you practice with easy level questions on platforms like AppCoder, LeetCode, or TopCoder. So the next question is, what will be assessed in document screening? So this one, again, as Graham mentioned, so we would like the applicants to have finished at least 1 CS computer science related courses. And this doesn't mean that you have to be a computer science major, but have finished like an online course or studied by yourself. That counts. And also essay on why you think you are a good candidate for Build Mercari and why you consider yourself as a part of the minority group in STEM and IT fields. So these are the things that we see in document screening. And some other questions, I believe some of them we might have answered already earlier, but the Build training program, is this a paid program? So the training program is unpaid program. However, the internship, it will be a paid program. And would Mccurry provide a computer for the training program? So unfortunately we don't. So we ask the participants to prepare their own computer and internet connection. However, if you move on to the internship, then yes, Mercari will provide computers to you. And about requirements. So are there any age restrictions? So we accept applications from those who are over 16 years old, and minors are required to gain consent from a parent or guardian when joining the internship program. And this will be announced by Mercari individually. So if you're not a student, we still accept applications from recent graduates who have about 1 to 3 years of work experience. Next question is, I am currently working as a software engineer. Can I apply? So of course, if you recognize yourself, if you see yourself as a part of a minority group in IT or STEM field, and you have motivation to change the environment for the better, then you're more than welcome to apply. And this one, we received a few as well. Can Mercari sponsor my visa for the internship? So both the training program and internship will be done online. But because there has been a recent change to the border situation in Japan, so there is a chance that we can have the interns come to Japan for the internship, relocate to Japan for the internship. And in that case, Mercari will sponsor their visa. However, the internship is around August. So we actually don't know the border situation around that time yet. So we still have a big chance that this internship will be online. So for the internship, how are team assignments decided? So team assignments will be decided based on many factors, such as answers on the application form, like the language meaning either Japanese or English that you can use, and the how many interns each engineering team, such as backend team, front-end team, are taking in interns. Next question is, I work for another company now. Is it possible to do an unpaid internship? So unfortunately, no, the internship is a paid program. So we cannot do an unpaid internship. And I think I touched on this one, so I will skip about the PC. And what language is used in the internship? So either Japanese or English, and also possibility of a mixture of them. So as explained earlier, Mercari Engineering Group engineering group in Mercari, around 50% of engineers are from abroad. So language could be that the team use. Could be English or Japanese, or it could be like a mixture of both languages. So we will match candidates with appropriate team based on their language ability. So it's not like, you'll be assigned to a Japanese team if you don't speak Japanese. Okay, and another popular question was this: can I get a job, like full-time job at Mercari after my internship? So you can proceed to the new graduate hiring selection process after the internship. However, please note that the earliest timing to join would be after 2023, so next year. So how much will interns be paid? So in Mercari Group, salary for whether interns or new graduates or mid-career professional candidates are all decided based on individual candidates' experience and skill sets. So hourly wage for interns will be different from person to person, different individually. Okay, so that's it for the questions that we received earlier before this event. So now I would like to answer questions that we received in the YouTube chat. We received many. Okay, let's see. Okay. Oh, so everyone's back. Okay, so we have many questions. I'm trying to figure out where to start. So from Donior, could you please inform us what is the requirements of Build training program? So Build training program, I guess I could go back to the previous slide. The requirements are here. So we touched on this. So here you can see the requirement for the program. I guess I can keep showing this slide for now. And let me go to the next question. Are the people with less or zero experience in software engineer field is able to join this training program? Graham, what do you think? I guess it depends on less or zero, what level that is.
Yeah, it's a good question. So obviously there is the coding test. There is another question about that. Not doing well on that test wouldn't be an immediate fail, for want of a better word. Obviously we would still review the application, but Build is really designed for people who have a very basic understanding of engineering, but really it's the enthusiasm that we're more interested in, and the person. So I wouldn't say don't try for it, but just be aware that there is that coding test, and if you don't code at all, that might not be very encouraging in itself. So does that answer that question?
Let us know if you have any additional comment, question about this. Okay, thank you. And if I do not identify myself as a member of the minority groups, can I still apply? So the purpose of the bill is to encourage those who are not in the majority, or who have who consider themselves as the minority groups in STEM and fields. So if you do not, if you don't identify yourself as a member of the minority groups, then we encourage that you apply to other internship programs that we have. We have a few other internships for software engineers, for site reliability engineers, a few other positions. Okay. Next question is, what are the standard resumes or documents needed to pass the selection stage at Mercari? I have applied on Mercari for the last 6 months, but my application always get rejected. let's see, the standard resume or documents needed. I believe this is not necessarily for Build program itself, but for Mercari in general, I believe. So for regular internship program that we have, from resume, we look for certain, let's say, internship experience or team project or personal projects that you worked on. So this doesn't not necessarily have to be on your resume, but could be on your GitHub or blog or other SNS that you may have. So we do look for certain experience for regular internships. So that's what we look at. Okay, thank you. Guess I can go to the next question. Does a participant have to join the training program in order to apply for the internship? For Build program, yes. However, if you would like to go straight or apply straight to the internship program, again, I would recommend that you apply to our other internship program. Kasumi-san, would you share our internship job description on our career site?
Sure.
Thank you. Okay, let's go to the next question. Okay, hello, do you accept applications who have already graduated, however, have not yet have any work experience? In my case, I chose to join a coding bootcamp to improve my skills before job hunting. Yes, we do. We do. So we actually, especially last year, I remember that we received a lot of applications from bootcamp graduates. So even if you're graduated and even if you don't have work experience, then you are welcome to join. Apply. Okay. All right then. So next question, can you please elaborate on being a girl is considered being minority in STEM? Sure. So maybe we can go back to the slide that Maya-san talked about.
Yes.
Go back to that slide.
The main reason being a girl is considered a minority in STEM is because of the percentage. I think if you go a little bit further, yeah, it was less than 20%, I think, for, I don't remember the numbers. Oh, there it is. 27% for science, and engineering is 15%. So that would be a minority when you're in the classroom. And I think most people would say in the engineering field, in the work field as well, women are generally the minority.
Okay, yeah. I hope that answers your question. Let us know if you have any additional comments or questions. And let's move on to the next question. Do you have the technical interview let me just go back to the steps, the selection process. Okay, so I think you were talking about, you were referring to this interview that we have for the internship. So I'm sorry, your question is a technical interview. So the question will be, it depends on which positions that you would like to apply for, position meaning whether on front end, back end, mobile. As far as I know, this might change, but for front position, we actually have a whiteboard coding during the interview. However, for other positions, we don't have like a live coding interview, but we have interview based on your resume and your work that we can see on your resume or other sources. Okay, let me move on to the next questions. Okay. Sorry. Oh, just to be clear, is the Build training program on demand based or real time? On demand, that means like could be anytime.
Right? Yeah, I would say it's on demand.
Yeah. So it's on demand. We can say it's on demand based. Am I correct? Okay. So we don't have like a set time, let's say like 5 to 7 p.m. Japan time, because we have we understand that every applicant have their own schedule, and we accept applications from not just people in Japan but also from abroad. So we have a big time difference. So that's why we just want to make sure that you can work anytime. But in order to receive support from our engineers, like as mentor, we would like you to work on the project within the Japan time from around 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. So the actual time that you work on the project, it's up to you. And next question, Graham said that the coding test 1 is part of the application for the Build training program. However, I already applied for the Build training program, but I'm yet to do the coding test. Oh, okay. So let me check. And if this is your name, then I can check and get back to you. So there will be coding tests sent to you. So there might be some delay. So let me check. And next question is, do we need to prepare for the technical interview? So we actually had the technical interview question before. So for the technical interview, like front end, I believe we do would like you to prepare, but right now I can't really tell you how exactly to prepare. Graham, do you have any comment on this?
Yeah, that's a very good question. Preparing for interviews, I would say treat it like any other interview, to be honest. When it comes to technical interviews, the coding test would be separate, but obviously there would be technical questions in the interview. So yeah, I can't really go into any more detail than that, than to just say, make sure that you have a solid understanding and have done some research for the interview, especially if for that internship you specified an area like machine learning or front end or Android development. Just make sure you've got your domain knowledge, which is always good practice to do. So yeah.
All right, thank you. I hope this answers your question. So let's move on to the next interview. So we have about 2 minutes left to boot, but we have many questions. So we'll try to answer them as many as possible. So I use a Chromebook for my daily programming tasks. Will that be an issue for the Build training program? Graham, do you have any comments about this? Maybe should be fine.
I think it should be fine. If it's a fairly recent Chromebook, I think it'll be fine. So if it can handle, as I'm sure it can handle YouTube because you're here right now, I think it would be fine. I can't think of many scenarios. If it runs Slack and it handles normal video, it should be fine.
Okay. All right, then. So let's move on to the next question. So can a 50-year computer engineering student apply for the Build training program? 50-year computer engineering student. 50-year. I don't think we have any restrictions on which year you're in university. So yes, I would say you can apply. You're more than welcome to apply. So I hope this answers your question. Okay, let's move on to the next question. Can you please elaborate more on the full-time role after the internship? That's a bit of that's a broad question. Full-time role after the internship. It depends on what you want to know about what the life of engineer would be like, but that might be we might be able to answer that in another time. So if you could elaborate what exactly you would like to know, that'll be great. So in the meantime, let me go to the next question. Are interns for the training internship program selected from the training program only, or will there be other applicants as well? So it will be, so the interns that move to the Build interns will be from the program only. We don't accept applications just for the internship from outside of the program, if that makes sense. Okay, for coding test number 2, where can we practice difficult level on Coder? LeetCode will be, would that be enough? Graham, do you know which level?
I am not sure how our level lines up with either Altcoder or LeetCode.
See, so for the coding test number 1, the easy level would be enough, but I believe that for the coding test 2, difficult level or more difficult level would be appropriate. I'm sorry, right now we can't give you the exact answer. Okay, let us move to the next question. Will there be a return offer based on internship performance? Do I need to go through the new grad hiring process, interviewing again? Yes, the return offer is possible, and there will be a separate selection process for that. Okay. All right, then. What is the content of the additional skill test for machine learning Build internship position? Is it another coding test? Can you elaborate on what is touched on the additional test? So what I can tell you about the machine learning skill test is OCR-based test. That's all the information that I have. So I'm not sure if this is going to be much of a help, but let me go to the next question. So you mentioned other internship programs. Where can we find information on this? I believe, so on the chat box or the comment section, you can see that Mercari Dev JP have just posted the career site, so you can check from there. Okay. Okay, well applied. Thanks for all the information. Thank you very much. Thank you. And I guess, okay, it's 2 minutes past 8. Okay, we have a few more questions. Okay, so let me answer all these questions. I have a certain IT, a certificate in IT and just graduated from a full-time web development bootcamp in Tokyo, but I'm not a minority. What are the chances of getting into Mercari's paid internship? I love Mercari. Thank you very much. I'm sorry. Not a minority. What are the chances of getting Mercari? Let's see. We actually, whether you are from a bootcamp or from university, that's not what we look at. So if you feel that if you feel that you're not a part of the minority, then the first thing that I would like to encourage is that you apply to a regular internship, which is also the paid internship. All the internship in Mercari is a paid program. So you can try applying for that regular internship. Okay. I may have missed some information for the mentorship during the training program. Do you mind elaborating on how it works once again? Graham, would you be able to talk a bit about the mentorship or during the program?
Sure. So it's a little bit different between the training program and the actual internship itself. But during the training program, I think mainly using Slack, both during the individual part of it, which is the first sort of week to 10 days, and as well as the team part of it leading up to the hackathon, you'll have a mentor assigned to your team during the team phase, but also during the individual phase, you'll have access to all of the mentors. And all of these mentors are senior and experienced software developers here in Mccurry. You can ask them questions about technical things. If you're struggling with some of the training, they can give you advice either on books to research or actually give you some solutions or kind of point you in the right direction for things for how to learn certain technologies. But they're also available to understand how Mccurry works as an engineering division, the tooling we use, the workflows we use. They'll also be able to help you with career questions. Many of them may have a lot in common with yourself, and they might be able to sort of give you some advice on things that they feel worked for them, what didn't work for them. And we would definitely encourage people to take advantage of that side of Build to really kind of learn about how things work from an experienced person within Mercari.
All right, thank you. So another question, after application, in how many days we can expect to get the coding test? So you should be able to receive within a few business days. However, depending on where you applied from or which channel you applied through, it might take a bit more time for us to send you the test. Okay, all right then. So I feel that was all the questions that we have. I hope we were able to answer all the questions. First of all, but thank you so much for all the questions. We really appreciate your enthusiasm for this program. And it's past 8 p.m. here in Japan. So if you don't have any other questions, I think we are... oh, thank you so much for your comment. Would you... Nogu-san, would you be able to put the survey? So we have a like a survey to ask you about how you liked this info session. So please let us know what you thought. Oh, it's not there yet. Can someone throw the survey on YouTube comment?
I think it's there now.
Oh, it's there? Okay.
Yes.
I'm sorry, I don't see it. Okay, it's there. Okay, great. All right then. So if you have any additional question, you can ask them on the survey, and we will answer by email. So I guess that's it for today. So thank you everyone for coming. And then we look forward to receiving applications for the Build program. So thank you, and have a great night or day or morning. Bye-bye. Thank you. Thank you so much.